Hi, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Thanks for watching. Did you know that an employee can basically be terminated at any time? There's no real restriction in Canadian law that prevents an employer from terminating an employee unless the termination is linked to a prohibited ground of discrimination under provincial and federal human rights legislation. Such prohibited grounds may include things like sex, age, gender, ethnic orientation, or disability. Most dismissals, however, do not fall under such prohibitions. If you're an employer, this video will share with you some tips on terminations. So, before you start a termination, presumably you have given the employee enough warnings, whether it be verbal or written, so that a termination should not come as a surprise to the employee. Speak with an employment lawyer if you're unsure on a termination and requirements from the employer's part as to what notice you have to provide. Employment Standards Agreement in Ontario, for example, provides an employee with anywhere from 0 to 8 weeks of notice or payments in lieu of notice for an employee that's terminated. You can visit the website with the Ministry of Labour in Ontario to find that out. If you're in another area outside of Ontario, you may want to check out those Ministry of Labour requirements as well. In addition, before a termination meeting, just make sure everything is in order. You may want to role play the termination with an employee, with someone else, perhaps another manager on your team. Get a letter ready for the employee. So there should be a termination letter, and it should include key things like what's the termination date, when the last pay will be, details on that last pay, who they should contact if they have any questions, and have a spot available for their signature for the employee to sign. Don't rush a termination. Make sure you've thought of every angle through. Make sure you've thought of all the considerations that may be necessary. Think about also providing outplacement services to a terminated employee. Outplacement services are services that are provided to an employee who has been terminated to help them out with their resume, career coaching, give them some advice, and so on. This is done by an outside third party. You can search on outplacement services in your area, and TorontoJobs.ca also provides that if you're interested through our outplacement services division. At the termination meeting, have 2 people present. Focus on the facts and the laws. Get an area or meeting room where you will not be disturbed. Keep it short. Have the person leave shortly thereafter. Have them leave the building unless there's some reason why they shouldn't be there. Have them escorted out if necessary. Let them get their personal belongings at their desk and say a quick, brief goodbye to other people and let them leave after that. Don't get into any specifics and provide them with that termination letter that I mentioned. And make sure to get any keys or pass cards back before they leave. After the termination meeting, make sure to change any passwords on their computer, email, and so on. Get a copy of the termination letter back that's signed by the employee. Document the termination meeting, what happened, who was there, what was said, any dates that were discussed, or when the termination meeting took place, and so on. And then also let others in the team, in the company, in the division know that the person is no longer with the company. Treat them with respect, the employee. Not to say what happened or get into the facts, just let them know that the employee is no longer with the company. A termination can be very difficult for both the employee and the employer. Keep it private, treat the employee with respect. You may have some other tips on terminations. Feel free to share them in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Again, my name is Marc Belaiche. I'm president of TorontoJobs.ca. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can also follow us on our social media at Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And finally, check out our YouTube channel. We have a TorontoJobs.ca channel where you can find out videos on other tips that might help you in your organization and also if you're a job seeker. Thanks for watching, and also don't forget, always consult an employment lawyer if you're terminating someone and you're not sure how to do it or getting some tips and so on. Have a great day and stay safe.